Hey everybody, Chris here with Crisscross Crafts. I'm just setting up my AR8 Elite from Axiom, and I thought, in a previous video I discussed how I did my table, but I didn't go over what you have to do to prep to be able to do that so that you can easily reset it for accuracy, because these things will loosen up and slide and shift. So you got to be able to reset them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about this amazingly elaborate jig that I made for setting these up, spacing them, and getting them aligned the way they need to be. Well, hold tight. We're going to walk you through that. But hey, don't forget, ring that bell, subscribe, all that good stuff so you can be notified when I do future videos. But in the meantime, let's get this thing set up. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is loosen all these up, because you got to be able to get them all shifted and sorted. Okay, now what I've done is I've made myself a simple jig, and this jig essentially has a lip here that catches the front of the table. This runs along the top of the aluminum top, and then here's a lip that actually raises up and creates a little shoulder for these to sit on. Now this could have been, done, I didn't really need this, but this serves another purpose for something else. I also went ahead and I've got holes drilled so that it aligns in particular slots. So let's get these set up. And what you want to do first, if I can get them in there, is get these pushed all the way tight. Okay, so push that tight, lock those down with that. So now these slide underneath easily. So that part's done. Let's go to step 2. Okay, so step 2 involves this little contraption here. Now, originally when I made these on my first machine, I had them all separate jigs. Well, I decided that was too hard to keep up with, so I went ahead and made them all into one. So what we've got here is we've got a similar lip here that rests against the outside of the table. This sets your first strip. So you'll do this all the way down. Of course, you're going to slam that strip all the way back against the first jig you put in, pull it all the way over against this jig, and start working down the table, tightening your screws. Once you do that, you simply rotate that over, and then this strip here is the exact size I need for between the strips. So I'll sit that in there, I'll pull the next strip in, push it down, and then I'll work my way down the line there. And I'll continue to do that till I get the whole table. So let me just skip all the talking and let me show you. Okay, so you're going to start out with about a 3-inch piece. This is for the end piece, and that's going to be what you need. About 3 1/16 was what I used for that measurement. Now on the side, I did use 2.1 as my starter, and that's pretty crucial. You don't want to be too far off of that distance, otherwise it will begin to span you over your T-slots in the table as you space them out later. But I got that jig made for that, and then the space between the strips worked out to be about 0.63, and again, that needs to be pretty close. Originally I was going to go 5/8, but that didn't quite work by the time I spaced them out to the other end. So that's a pretty accurate measurement there. Now this is using the factory Spoilboard from Axiom, but as you can see, that jig sits right down in the groove, and once you get that started, the key is getting the end set and then this first side piece set. And you can start from either side, it doesn't really matter. But the key is getting the end and the side started. And that way everything else, when you use your spacer, will properly align and even out the rest of those strips. So as you can see, it's a long, tedious job, but well worth it in the end to be able to quickly and accurately reproduce that setting. So let's, now that we've got it all fastened down, start milling it and get it surfaced flat. Getting it flattened is first priority over anything else. You got to get it flat before you start your grid or your pin fence. So here we go. Okay, so there you go. I used the exact same file on the Elite that I did on the Pro. A little bit of tweaks from what I had done before, but as you can see, turned out great. So now I've got the grid system. I do plan on coming in and putting some other holes at different locations. So that's going to help me set up and be able to do a lot of things and have multiple origins created and set up on the table. So anyway, this is Chris with Crisscross Crafts. Hey, click that button. Don't forget. And until then, we will see you next time. Take 4, just in case that one sucked. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure these are all loose.